Well, welcome. Good evening, everybody, to episode number 1 of Material Issues with David Bash and Mark Hershberger. Hopefully, this is going to be an every week Wednesday sort of thing. It's off the cuff. It's unscripted. We might say anything, so if you're easily offended, please stick around and leave us comments because we're going to read the comments. My friends, we're going to talk about pop. We're going to talk about collecting, ephemera, news of the day, anything and everything, and we're going to have fun. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to you my very good friend of International Pop Overthrow, Mr. David Bash.
Thank you, Mark Hershberger, but it's Samuel Arrow. That's my non-de plume of the week.
Should we talk about why that's Samuel Arrow?
Sure, why not?
All right. Well, Dave, you and I were having a good time, but there was those little Facebook memes or whatever they on. It said your porn name is your middle name plus the model of your first car.
Yeah, and that's it. My first car was a Plymouth Arrow, but for accuracy's sake, it should have been Samuel P. Shooter. But what can I?
Unfortunately, and yours is excellent. But, I love Samuel Arrow. Mine was Wayne Duster, which sounded like
also kind of works.
It kind of works, but it sounded like the guy that actually got Samuel Arrow ready for his scene.
The fluffer, yeah.
The fluffer.
How do I know this stuff?
I don't know. How do you know that stuff? I'm learning. I'm learning these things from you, David.
I'm not going anywhere with that.
Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? Yeah.
Well, before we get into that, we really need to answer once and for all the question that's been on everybody's mind for at least a year. Is Kiss power pop? Go ahead, Mark.
I was actually going to wear my Kiss Alive 2 t-shirt for the opening of this thing, but is Kiss power pop? Oh my gosh, I've got to sit here and talk to my good friend David Bash about Kiss. I'm 50-50. I think there are things to me, they're power pop. If you ask me, like Christine 16 or Calling Dr. Love or even Rock and Roll All Night, to me that sounds like power pop. But then there's quite a canon that is not.
Oh, Canon was actually my porn name, but yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, wait. First comment
Ladies,
comes in.
What do you think?
This must be where all the cool kids hang out. That's right.
Absolutely, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, please tell your friends.
Meanwhile, it says Facebook user. So this person chose to be anonymous. They're saying the cool kids hang out here, yet they don't want us to know who they are. Kiss sucks. Well, let me answer the question as I did during a talk that I was part of about a year ago. Right. Kiss is to power pop as Donald Trump is to empathy. That's all I got to say.
Enough said.
Yeah, you can all do without what you will, but and now we've pissed off people. Now they're
now the viewership is dropping like flies.
Or is it increasing?
Increasing? That's the question.
Yeah,
that's the question. But
anyway,
David, tell us about a little bit about what's going on with IPO and what it's all about, just in case people tune in that don't know your story.
Well, for those who don't know me at all, like some of your friends, I run a music festival called International Pop Overthrow, which has been around since 1998. We started in Los Angeles, did it there exclusively, and now we've been in as many as 16 different places. I don't know how many we're going to be in the future, especially with COVID and what the aftermath, the ramifications of that is, but we'll see. And the festival basically showcases unsigned bands, mostly, just giving them, I hate to use that word exposure because everyone hates it. Giving them
except Samuel Arrow.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's more of a peep show, I think. Uh, anyway, oh my God, this is getting off to an auspicious beginning, isn't it? Uh, it's a platform for melodic rock and all kinds of different pop bands to showcase their stuff in front of people who would really dig it on bills in which there are a lot of other like-minded artists. And for those of you who do know what International Pop Overthrow is, I have an announcement to make. We now have our dates for Liverpool in 2022. A lot of people have been wondering, is it going to happen? But it's going to happen. May 16th. Rena just said, "Yay!" I don't know if you heard that.
I heard
But
that.
she's home today because she's working from home. Sometimes she does that. But anyway, May 16th through 22nd at the world famous Cavern Club and Cavern Pub. It's a day less than it has been for a while, but 7 days and nights is fine. And I'm sure we're going to have some amazing bands on the bills. So yeah,
It's always a great time in Liverpool. Yeah.
16 to 22 May for those of you who are more Anglo inclined, and 2022, and it's going to be a blast. So I'm really, really excited that we're going to be back. Prior to that, I have one scheduled in Arlington, Texas from September 15th through 18th, sponsored by Spider Pop Records, a great label out of Arlington with acts like Lanny Flowers and Danny Wilkerson and Chris Church and many others. That's going to be a lot of fun also. I'm really looking forward to it.
Outstanding. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I was there 3 times in my life for your IPOs in Liverpool. Well, one time I was there, but I was sick in the hotel room with food poisoning.
I was going to say, I just thought about that. For everyone who's listening, never eat egg salad from a gas station. That is something that Mark learned the hard way.
a petrol station. I didn't know.
Do not.
You know?
Well, I'm sure gas stations in the States, it's probably just as bad. So I would not go there.
Yeah, that was painful. That was a painful memory. That was not good. But the other two times I was in Liverpool was just probably one of the best music weeks experience. Period. I mean, to go
I
from
appreciate that.
Yeah, to go from the Cavern, where you had 2 stages and you had so many great bands, and I'm sure upcoming is going to have a lot of great bands as well. It's just an experience.
Yeah, a lot
if
of
you can
them
get there.
said they're going to play. So already
Wonderful.
I know that we're going to have some great ones. Let me take people into another room here. Let's hope. Oh, sorry about my hand. That's what she said. Okay. Now here's the record room. How does this look, Mark?
That looks fantastic.
All right, we got the Capitol Records. We got the Capitol Records Tower, which I was so happy that I was able to get this model. There's a store nearby who had one, and I kept trying to get them to sell it to me. They wouldn't. And then finally, I was in another record store, and I saw this box, and I said, "What's in the box?" And they just said, "Take it." And it turned out to be this. So talk about kismet. Anyway, here's some of the CDs. I say some because, well, that's all. Here's some vinyl. Here's some box sets. Are you getting all this?
Now we're getting it all. I'm looking for the missing Klaatu Hope original artwork. I think you have that hidden somewhere there.
I don't. You do. I wish I did. Do I wish I did. So John Wollershock, D. Long, if you're listening, I need some swag, baby.
If you've got the original artwork, he'll take that. That's fine. You know?
Oh God, yes. I'll even.
Well, a lot of that original artwork hangs in Terry Draper's house and in his studio. I've been there and I've seen it. It's absolutely. I mean, Ted Jones, the artist that did most of their artwork except for Sir Army Suit, he's incredible. But the Hope original artwork, evidently, I think, and Jamie Wood, he's watching. Hi, Jamie Vernon of Bullseye Records in Canada. He will confirm that artwork was sent out to LA to be photographed for the album, and it was never returned. Nobody knows where the original the original Hope album artwork is. So,
Oh man,
that's one of the big Klaatu mysteries outside of the fact of who were they, where's the artwork?
Right. Well, I gotta say, when I read the article, I read it in a Syracuse University newspaper. That's where I started college. I really believed it was the Beatles, and my friend Keith and I went out and bought the album, and we were just gaga over it. And we're listening like Beavis and Butthead. Basically, we're going, "Did you hear that? That's Paul." Oh, did you hear that riff? That's got to be George. And you're going, and we're just like two idiots, right? And finally, one of our sophomore friends said, "No, you guys are so gullible. It's not the Beatles. We found out it's these Canadian musicians." And it's like,
Right.
But that didn't stop me from buying all of their albums because.
Yeah, of course. Well, Jamie's just commented.
Band.
He said the Hope artwork is in the actual Capitol Tower. So I think he's verified that they do know that it's there. I was under the impression.
Jamie, I'm getting it. I'm going in there. I don't care what it takes. I'm getting it.
Stay tuned, everybody, for David's live feed from a jail cell in LA.
Hey, it'll be worth it. I'll do it.
But that's awesome, my friend, that you've got IPO kicking back up, and the whole Liverpool news is fantastic. Getting back to live music, getting back to everything that we really need for a great musical time. And you're somebody that I think a lot of people turn to and count on to present these great bands all over the country and all over the world. And
thank you, Mark. Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
Dumb enough to do it, right?
There's one born every how many seconds? I don't know.
Each nanosecond, I think.
Each nanosecond, according
each nanosecond, a dummy is born. I can guarantee you that. All right, so I'm seeing a bunch of people who are commenting, most of whom have Facebook users, so maybe it's the same person doing it several times. But yeah, if you're out there, I don't know if a message went out to everyone saying we were on the air. I didn't see one, but if you're out there, comment. Let us know you're there.
Yeah, because we're new to this. We're techno challenged, music loving geeks. So we're hoping that this is working, and we want to figure out how we get the word out to everybody. So if you're seeing notifications or things like that, let us know.
Yeah, please.
Just so we can make it better.
Anyway, before we forget, time for you to tell everyone who you are, Mark. Oh, Larry Kennedy. Hey, Larry.
Hey,
Jelly Bricks.
Bricks.
Awesome band. We want you back at IPO. How about Liverpool? You haven't played it yet.
Larry would be dangerous in Liverpool.
Why is that?
Because he's just such a music nut, and he loves everything as far as Beatles are concerned. I bet Larry he'd be just having such a great time. He'd burn out in about 12 hours and be done.
Where's Larry? We get him on stage first.
Now, well, speaking of Larry Kennedy, Jelly Bricks had a release with Pop Detective Records. That's kind of where I'm known from. I started way back when writing for Oddities magazine, Little Gold Mine of Discoveries, but I was known as the Pop Detective because I would hunt down bands that you hadn't heard of for quite a long time and interview them and see what had happened to them. And that all led to interviewing Blue Ash from the early 70s. And, I did some work with Jamie Vernon, who's watching from Bullseye Canada, on some tribute releases to Sweet and Bay City Rollers and the Klaatu stuff. But Frank Sesich of Blue Ash formed a brand new kind of super group called Deadbeat Poets. And he called me up one day and he said, how about releasing this first album we got? And I said, I don't have a record label. And he said, start one. And that's kind of how Pop Detective Records came about. And one thing led to another. And my love of Scandinavian pop music led to releasing a number of Scandinavian acts. Vibeke Sagestad, one of my favorite people on the planet, had a couple great CDs on the label. And it just turned into a thing that just kind of kept growing. And I had such a wonderful time with it. meeting a lot of people, releasing a lot of great music. And to this day, on Sirius XM's Little Steven's Underground Garage, my label has the most coolest songs in the world of any label. I've got 18 coolest songs in the world. 18.
Count them.
Yeah, count them. Yeah. 18. And
that's tremendous.
one coolest song of the year and 5 top 10 runner-ups in coolest song of the year. So that wasn't too bad for a little indie label that didn't know what the heck he was doing. So that's my story. Yeah.
I dig Pop Detective. That's all I got to say.
Great. Thank you, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Speaking of
kind of music.
Speaking of the Deadbeat Poets, that kind of reminds me of the one time we did IPO in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yes.
Big shout out to Vivian if you're watching. Mark, you wanna lead us into
No,
that
I'm not.
story? No,
I am not going
to.
No, I don't want to get into that story.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Folks, trust me, it's funny. It's Seinfeld worthy is all I gotta say.
Sometimes you have to have inside jokes, David.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. But that was a very fun IPO. What was the name of the club? Cedars. Yeah.
And I think that original Cedars closed down, but they opened up a few years ago, brand new Cedars. Larry would know that better than anybody. There's a new Cedars, I believe.
It was a fun club, and Blue Ash did a reunion show. And hey, whoever you are, hi. Blue Ash did a reunion show, and there was also the Infidels.
Oh yeah,
we did another reunion show, and just a whole bunch of bands from Pittsburgh and all over the area. It was fun.
And I'll tell you what. While we're doing that, we're talking about Blue Ash, we're talking about Youngstown, we're talking about things like this. Before I forget, for everybody who's tuning in right now, this is a very hard to get rare Deadbeat Poets CD single with It's Summertime, backed with I'll Be Standing By. Not too many people have this. It's on Pop Detective Records. We're going to do a little trivia contest right now. And the first person to comment with the correct answer to this trivia question, I'm going to send this out to you. So,
can I play? Can I play?
No, you cannot play. Get your fingers away.
Man.
We discussed this. All right, my friends.
My fingers are coming nowhere near this. I promise.
Hold your hands up, David, please. Hands up. My friends, we're going to do a trivia contest. The first person to correctly answer this trivia question tonight is going to get this wonderful rare Deadbeat Poets. It's summertime because it's almost summertime. All right, Frank Sessage, Deadbeat Poets. Frank started out in Blue Ash. They were a legendary power pop band with 2 major labels in the early to mid 70s. He then went on to write and record with his childhood friend, Steve Bader, who was Stiv Bators. And they had the Stiv Bators band. There was a song written by Frank and Stiv, recently covered by Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day on his recent album covers called No Fun Mondays. What is the name of that cover song to win this Deadbeat Poets CD? First person to reply with the correct answer will get this CD. So we'll wait for somebody to come.
Never mind. No one wants to hear me sing.
Stingo.
Hey, Paul. How are you? The Pieces, which is a band that Paul Stingo is in, they played the first ever IPO in LA in '98. They came all the way out from New York to do that. And that was fun. And they've played many times since then. If you've never heard The Pieces, you should find their stuff. It's just really, really good, sort of light and lively power pop with great harmonies. I totally dig them. Peaces. What is the name of the album? Like I is, was, were, or something like that. But it's really good.
We've got a winner. Somebody has the correct answer, and it is Not That Way Anymore. From who is that? PCS Beat?
Oh,
Pieces
Paul,
Best Pieces.
Paul. Yeah.
Paul. Hey, Paul, drop either myself or David a message with your mailing address on regular Facebook, so you don't have to drop it off here on the comments. Otherwise, everybody's going to know where you live, and the fact that you've got the CD, that could just turn into trouble. We don't want that. So stay in touch with us, Paul, and you drop us your address outside in regular Facebook message, and we'll get that out to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Paul doesn't want to give his address, with the illicit business he's running from his house and everything.
We've actually had about 5 people after Paul comment.
Thank you.
About Not That Way Anymore. So yeah, Not That Way Anymore. A great Frank Sessage, Stiv Bader's track. They had a single on Bomp with that did fairly well. But Billy Joe Armstrong, big fan of Stiv and that track, and he covered it on his new cover album, No Fun Mondays, which is really a great album of covers.
I have an interesting Bomp story, if I may tell it.
Yes, tell away.
When the Pebbles albums came out, well, not when they came out, but afterwards, another friend, Mark, and I were kind of wondering. We knew they weren't coming out of Kookaburra, Australia, as they said they were. We were wondering, where were they coming from? And I remember telling Mark, the only person I know who knows that much about garage music to be able to put out these comps is Greg Shaw of Bomp Records. So why don't we, since we live out near where their offices were, why don't we go over and pay a visit and find out for sure? So we did. This was in '85. And we get to the door, knock on the door, and this other guy answers. And we ask if we can come in, and we say, all right, we know you sell the Pebbles albums, but do you guys manufacture them too? And the guy says, oh, no, we wouldn't do that. We can't do things like that. It's illegal. It's like, yeah. So we were chagrined and we left and bummed out and everything. But a couple of weeks later, I said, you know what, Mark, we got to go back and talk to Greg because, this guy just works for him. He's probably been instructed to say certain things. So we went back, and sure enough, Greg answers the door. And we asked him the same question. And he goes, oh, yeah, we do them. Come on in. And he takes us over to, here's the artwork. We're working on a new volume right now. And, and he I guess he figured we weren't cops. And, well, he was right. And we ended up making very good friends with him. And
nice.
It was really sad because he was going, just before he passed, he sent me an email asking if I wanted to work on a project with him. I think it was some Johnny Thunders project. And, it's Greg Shaw asking me. So I said, yeah, sure. And I said, I'm going over to Liverpool to do IPO, but when I get back, we'll take care of it. And then he passed.
Right.
I miss him. Greg Shaw had this one characteristic that I've never seen anybody have. Let's say you and I were in the room with him, and Mark, you asked him a question. When he answered the question, he would look directly at you, and he would never waver. Like, normally when there's 2 people in the room, even if one person asks a question, the person answering it will, they'll look around, they'll look at you a little bit. And he would never do that. Whoever asked a question, he had their full attention. Or they had his full attention. And it was really, I don't know why, but I just found that to be very remarkable because I've never seen anybody else do that.
Frank Sessage always speaks highly of of his dealings with Greg and Bomp and whatnot in the Stiv days. And I never had the pleasure of meeting the guy, but everything I always hear from him is really, really pretty remarkable.
He was cool, and he had great taste in music. He released so much amazing stuff. He's influenced a lot of people in their writing, even me. He used to use the word urgent quite a bit to describe power pop. And when I first wrote reviews, I overused that word. I'm sure John Borak, if he's watching, he can vouch for that. He thinks I overuse a lot of different words. And we joke around about that because sometimes he used to use the word nifty all the time. And occasionally I would write a review and put nifty in there just as tribute to him.
Just a little tribute.
But I have a question about nifty. What the hell is nift? If something's nifty, it means it contains nift. What's nift?
Right.
Do you know?
I know. I don't know whether you
Uh,
can be NIFT, or or you will be NIFT, or was NIFT. I don't know. You got Webster's up there on the back of your wall. Or is that just all box sets?
that that's all box sets actually. Oh yeah, I didn't show that to the. Yeah, these are LP and CD, the big boxes
Right.
actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
all. This is your
I
relatively
don't
new
want to
house that
reveal
you
it
had.
all.
No.
I don't want to reveal it all on the first date,
No, but you can say that this is a relatively new house where all this custom shelving was built for your massive collection, Samuel Arrow.
That's right. Samuel Arrow and Massive definitely go together, baby. From now on, I'm Samuel Massive Arrow is my new porn name.
Hey, but you reminded me when we're talking about power pop and things like that, and I just looked at a little note that I had because we wanted to remember that last week Paul Collins had a birthday. We wanted to say happy birthday to Paul Collins, of course, of the Nerves and the Beat and his solo career. He has been going at it for a long time and just super fantastic. Power pop hero. I think I saw him in Philly one time
Yeah,
with P Hux. How about that for a
that's a great
combination in a
bill.
small club? And P
Absolutely.
Hux and Paul Collins. Yeah, it blew my mind.
Well, here's something interesting. When I was doing IPO in Stockholm a few years ago, during one act set, and that's act will remain nameless, because I walked out not because they weren't good, but because I've seen them several times. So I went over to Pet Sounds Records, which was right down the street, because I'm such a record geek. I have, I just can't help it. But I went in there, and Paul Collins is doing a set for people. And I just went in and I waved to him. And after the song he was playing, he told the whole crowd, David Bash is putting on this International Pop Overthrow Festival right down the street. And he's so responsible for giving acts a place to play. It just made me feel really good
That's awesome.
that a legend like that would acknowledge me in that way. That was cool.
Now, is that the record store that I got you a gift certificate to in Stockholm?
No. And thank you again for that, by the way. No, the store from which you got me the gift certificate is Nostalgia Palazzo or Nostalgia Palace. That store is amazing. Of all the places I've ever been, record-wise, that is the best. They have stuff from all over the world by every cool act, every cool major act, at least, you can think of. I mean, I was seeing U.S. records there that I never saw in the U.S.
Wow.
I mean, that's how good this place was. I've bought all kinds of things like mono original Hollies albums from both the UK and Sweden, all kinds of stuff. I really miss that place because we haven't been able to go the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, but how many guys from New Jersey buy a guy in LA a gift certificate to a record shop in Stockholm?
I'm gonna go with one. One guy in New Jersey did that. That's you.
I'm going to say I probably am the one guy that did that. That's pretty good. Oh, that's awesome. Well, so very happy birthday to Paul Collins. A very happy birthday.
Yes, absolutely.
Being happy, healthy, safe, and keep rocking.
So Mark, John Kirby, what is he saying? How come I come up as Facebook user? Because nobody wants to know who you are with your lascivious reputation, John.
They automatically just
remember, the guy Michael in the Harmony Grass song. I think that was you. I do, because he's talking about all the girls he had. That had to be you.
I am not seriously though, John. I don't know how why people come up as Facebook user unless you have some sort of anonymous thing clicked on so your name doesn't come up. I don't understand. We'll have to look into that for next time. But if you want to be recognized by us because we'd like to, feel free to say, hey, it's Bob. It's Bob from the video shoot last week for Samuel Arrow. Hi.
Yeah, I was gonna say, John, what's your porn name? I can only imagine.
Well, this and we also get here's Facebook user. Hello, Mark and David. Great podcast. Thanks for Not That Way Anymore. Shout out. That sounds like it's probably Frank Sessage.
Hey, Frank, we miss you.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's probably Frank. But there are Jim Trainer said he sees John's name pop up.
Oh, hey.
So some people are seeing.
Interesting. It's not showing. Some of them aren't showing up with us, but.
Oh, I see. Kurt says if you log into StreamYard and actually do I guess a free account there, then your name will come up. So there's a couple little things we'll have to put out there.
Kurt is very tech savvy, by the way. I'm probably the most Luddite-ish. Is that a word? It is now. I'm the most Luddite-ish of everybody that's involved in this.
And I also think you're very nift. You know,
I'm nift. All right, I have nift. I'm not. No, I'm nifty. I have nift. I possess nift. Would you like me to speak about some records I've been listening to?
Yeah, what have you been listening to? That's a very good thing to transition to because you get a lot of the.
Johnny Norris is here from Crash Into June and now from Your Academy. Your Academy is going to be playing IPO Arlington. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. If you like Teenage Fan Club, and most of you do, you'll really dig Your Academy out on Cool Cat Music.
Oh, Cool Cat. Well, Ray lives 20 minutes from me, right down the road. Cool Cat Music.
Yes, we've both been to his house. He has quite the collection.
Yes, he does.
Anyway, let me show a few things. This just came out on Cherry Red. For you reissue fans, it's called Beyond the Pale Horizon, the British progressive pop sound of 1972. It's the third in I guess a series of these British progressive pop things. They use the term progressive very loosely, I want to say. You know, you're thinking, oh, it's going to sound like Can or Egg or Caravan or Camel. Well, a little bit like those two, but you've got all kinds of bands here. I think when they say progressive here, they just mean stuff that was a little bit ahead of its time. And, you know, you've got major acts like Roxy Music and Argent, the Moody Blues, the Move, ELO. And you also have acts that a lot of people haven't heard of, like Byzantium, let's see, who else? Clown. I did not know who they were. Tuesday, a band called Cold Turkey. Let's see who else. Home.
Wow.
Oh, White Plains is on here. They're about as prog as you can get.
Yeah. I mean, Tuesday. I like some of the names here. Tuesday is a cool name.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of cool stuff on here.
Wow.
A lot of really good poppy stuff.
But I've never heard of them.
A lot of cool poppy stuff. A lot of cool rock stuff. And you know, if you're into the sounds of 1972, especially UK style, you're going to love this. It's a 3-disc box set on Grapefruit Records, a division of Cherry Red. I would highly recommend it. All right, let's see what else we got here.
Outstanding.
Let me talk about here's a record that a lot of people know, but maybe some listeners don't. The Legal Matters, their new album, Chapter 3. I mean, I've known these three gentlemen for a long time, and I've heard their music, and I've always liked it a lot. But they've definitely hit their apex with Chapter 3. This is a great, great record. Think Crowded House, you know, a little bit CSN, even bands like Beagle, for example.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's got great hooks, wonderful harmonies. I don't say this very often. I mean, I drop a lot of superlatives. It's true, especially in my reviews. But if this band had been around 45 years ago or 40 years ago, they'd have gotten a record deal. There's absolutely no doubt about it. You would have seen their albums on Epic or on Passport or on some label back then, and you'd be seeing them in the used bins right now. Maybe they'd even be very collectible. I don't know, but this is a really good record. If you're a power pop fan, you need to have this. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Sounds like it's an urgent purchase.
It's nifty, very
nifty. What else you got?
Oh, here's one that John Borak always makes fun of me. I once described what did I describe? Baby Lemonade, the great L.A. band from the mid '90s. I described them as sounding like if the sperm of the sperm of Arthur Lee was commingled with Mickey Bereni of Lust. And John's always getting on me about the commingled sperm. Not ours, ladies and gentlemen. They have never mingled. Not yet, anyway. I told John that he was going to at least cringe at one thing that we said, and right. I think we've done it. Well, let's see what else we have here. Here's a new album by a Liverpool band, right. The Coral, called Coral Island. It's one thing I really like about this, and this band has been around a long time. And no, I mean, they got discovered actually playing at the Cavern. And
yes, I've heard you talk about that. Yes, yeah.
Unfortunately, they haven't played IPO yet.
Right,
guys, if you're listening, come on next time. What do I love about this? Well, for one thing, it's a 2 CD set, which could have fit on 1 CD, but they decided to make it like an LP. It's got a gatefold, and each side is about 25 minutes, so it really is like an LP would have been, before the advent of CD. So that's cool. It's kind of mellow, but it rocks also. Again, some beautiful harmonies. Paul Malloy, Ian Skelly, and company. They also kind of, and I found this out from some of my British friends. The first thing I noticed is they have a lot of spoken word interludes, kind of like Ogden's Nuck on Flake by Small Faces. And I'm sure they were going after that. But apparently the place that they're talking about, well, I think Coral Island might be a sort of mysterious, mystical kind of place. But I think it's influenced by a real place where the spoken word actually has some relevance. I don't know, but apparently that's true. Anyway, the record's really good. I mean, I think you'll really enjoy this if you're into melodic pop.
Nice.
Check it out. Yeah. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. I might as well give a shout out to these people. The Armoires.
Oh, yeah.
My good friends, Christina Bulbenko and Rex Broom of Big Stir Records. Their new album, Incognito, is probably their best one. It's a great album cover. And it's really what they've done, basically. And this wasn't an album that was recorded as such. What they've done is they've mixed cover versions of songs they've done with originals that they had released under different nom de plume and at different times. So it's sort of an amalgamation of all kinds of different sources. But yet it really works as an album. And the cover versions are really good. I mean, Paris 1919. The John Cale song, which is a great song to begin with. They do a wonderful version of it. They do a great version of Yellow River, the big hit by Christie. Senses Working Overtime by XTC. They do a nice version of that. And their original songs are I think they've really coalesced now as a band. They have a unique kind of folk power pop sound that I totally dig. So I would recommend this. If you don't have it yet. The Armoires, Incognito, excellent stuff. Also, and speaking of Big Stir is about to release an album by this Finnish band called the Babblers. I had not heard of them, but they've been around since the early 80s. They recorded 2 albums in the last century, and then they went on hiatus, and they're coming back now. They have a new one coming out on Big Stir at the end of the month. But in the meantime, I got wind of what did I do with their record? Oh my gosh! Oh, here it is. Of their 1999 album called "Like the First Time," which only came out in Finland and Japan. And this is great. This has to be, honestly, among the top 10 Scandinavian records I've ever heard. Up there with.
And where are they from?
They're from Finland.
They're from Finland. Okay.
Yeah, it's up there again with Beagle and the Merrymakers and the Girls and Cranberry Sauce and everybody who's cool. Here's a track from it. Let's see if people can hear this well. This coming in nice. It's a track called Could It Be You? We'll hear a little bit.
Yeah, I dig it, man.
Let's hear this chorus. It's nice.
Yeah, I like
Yeah, that's
that.
really good.
I'm writing that down right now.
Go to Discogs. They've got they're like 3 copies up there. The copies are cheap, but the shipping, unfortunately, is kind of expensive because it's all being shipped from overseas. But
right.
Definitely check it out. I was floored. I've heard the new album. It's really good. Also, a little bit more mellow than that. Very John Lennon-esque. Arto, the lead singer songwriter, is a absolute talent, and I'm so glad that they've reunited to do a new record, and I think we'll have them at IPO Liverpool next year also. So,
nice.
But yeah, the Babblers like the first time. Make sure you save Marsh Hershberger a copy here because he needs it.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
I wrote that down. And once again, people are popping in, popping out. This is great. If you feel like leaving a comment and saying hi to us, we appreciate it. We are new to this. This is all just off the cuff, random stuff that we talk about. It is not scripted. So David and I are just having some good time with it, and we appreciate everybody stopping in and hanging out with us and talking music. And we're getting some John Kirby action here.
Yeah, I see. What's he talking about? Oh, the Ramon tribute, which Fernando Perdomo, the Zelig of pop, produced, and it's a 50th anniversary tribute to the Ram album. And he's talking about Gordon Michaels. Gordon Michaels had an album in 1979 that I bought. I saw it on the wall of a record store I frequented back then. And the guy looked kind of like Ray Davies. He looked really pop. So I said, I have to buy this. And I wasn't disappointed. And that was the only record he had put out that I knew about. And I said, I wonder whatever happened to him. And lo and behold, he's working with Fernando Perdomo. And he put out a record last year that's excellent. Gordon, if you're listening, I love your music. It's been great getting to know you and all that stuff. Oh, Frank says it's sharing the podcast on all of my sites. Oh my God.
Frank has more sites than anybody. So we could be worldwide in a matter of moments.
My God, yeah. I'm tingling with anticipation. I don't want to tell you where I'm tingling either. This is big. Well, kind of.
Well, that's not what she said.
Who have you've been talking to my girls? Oh my God. Don't let anyone know that.
Well, I mean, everybody, we decided to kick off this live podcast, YouTube, Facebook thing on a Wednesday night, primarily because the Yankees weren't playing at this time. That was that was how
not until 8 Eastern, actually.
But I gotta ask. Yes, I got to ask Mr. Bash, though. A couple of people that we also lost besides birthdays. We lost a couple of people this week that I, personally thought were pretty sad, like Charles Grodin, great actor. I always enjoyed his work. But in the baseball world, one of my all-time favorite players on my all-time favorite team died yesterday, and that was Rennie Stennett of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Rennie Stennett. Yeah. The only player to ever get 7 hits in a 9-inning ball game. He went 7 for 7, and he was also part of that very first all-minority team, fielding of 9 minority players when the Pirates did that in 1971. And he died yesterday at the age of 72. And hats off to Rennie Stennett. I know David's a big baseball fan.
Yeah,
and we talked.
I certainly remember Rennie Stennett. I believe that 9 African descent lineup for the Pirates happened on my birthday in 1972. Either September 1st or my birthday, which is September 2nd. I don't remember. At the time, I wasn't aware of it, but of course, I've read about it several times. Rennie Stennett was a really good player. He was a guy who.
There was a little thing in the paper.
When Willie Randolph was traded to the Yankees, Rennie Stennett took over at second base. And he probably would have been a lifetime 300 hitter with over 2,000 hits if he hadn't broken his leg in the late 70s.
Exactly. And
he never did meaningfully recover.
Al Oliver and Dave Parker, 2 guys that aren't too shabby themselves, said the best player, the greatest athlete on those early Pirate teams was Rennie Stennett. And he would have been unbelievable had he not broken his ankle. And his career just at that point, because when he broke his ankle, he was number 2 in batting average in the league, behind Al Oliver. Broke his ankle the following year, came back and batted .240, and his career just went like that ever since. But
it's a shame, as Bill James, the great baseball writer, has said many times. There are more people who would have been Hall of Famers whose career was derailed by injuries than there are actual Hall of Famers.
Right.
Which is interesting to think about, but it's true. And in a lot of cases, we wouldn't know if they would be Hall of Famers because, they got injured in their second year and they never got to continue their career, or they never got to continue, like a guy like Herb Score, for example.
Right.
Great pitcher in the late 50s with the Indians. And Gil McDougall of the Yankees hit a line drive right back at his face, messed up his eye to the point where he lost his control. But he probably would have, had he not been injured, he probably would have been a Hall of Famer. But we'll never know.
It's
a tough game. Baseball, like any sport, baseball's a tough game, and people get hurt. And unlike football, where where there are certain injuries you can still play with, baseball is a more nuanced game. And if you pull pull a muscle, or you get a little bit of an ankle tweak, in football you might still be able to play. In baseball you can't, and your career could go right down into the toilet. So it's really a shame about Rennie Stennett. He could have been a great one, but
but speaking of baseball though, Dave, this just came in. I've got one of those little ticker tapes that they used to use in the 60s with news. It says, in keeping up with baseball's trend to add or remove parts of the game in order to make it more exciting for the fans, the music industry has just announced some changes of what will be allowed to be recorded and released. This is this is what they're saying. Starting June 1st, no song can be over 3 minutes. That's pretty big. No chord changes mid-song. It's too confusing. So, for all those musicians out there, can it with the chord changes, you can't do that. And you're only allowed to play the bridge one time during the song. Otherwise, too redundant, stretching the song over 3 minutes. And the title of any song can't be more than 4 words long. So there's a lot of changes coming in the music industry. That just came in from the ticker tape. Thought I'd bring it up real quick.
As if pop music wasn't already on its death knell. Now we have this. The coffin is the last nails being hammered into the coffin now.
Hey, I don't write this stuff, and this is what's coming across the news ticker. I'm just reporting.
Yeah, no, I mean we've got to tell the truth here on material issues, or the issue's immaterial if it's not true, right?
I've got a question for you though, David, and this is for your response. Okay. And we're going to address the white elephant in the room right now, because
where is it?
There's tension. Right. There's tension. 2021 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Give me your opinion. These are the people going in. Todd Rundgren. Yay, nay?
Well, Well, let me preface this by saying I kind of don't give a rat's ass about the
Nobody does. Nobody does.
No, but I rarely talk about it because it's run by a bunch of corporate assholes.
Yes,
who,
that's what Todd. That's why I led off with Todd Rundgren, and it's the same.
Who have their own agendas, whether they be financial or cool, and a lot of who gets in and who's left out is based upon that. Having said that, I'm really glad Todd Rundgren got in. Obviously, for people who do care about the Hall of Fame, he's a very welcome addition. He deserved to be in a long time ago. I mean, forget about just, his career as a recording artist. The guy was an amazing producer and was an innovator as well. I mean, a lot of stuff that he did became common practice among bands, a few years later. So he was a visionary. If anybody deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for their influence and just for their farsightedness,
for the overall package,
Rundgren was. My theory was always that he must have done something to piss off Jan Wenner, and that's why he wasn't. And you could see Todd Rundgren saying something to Wenner that didn't sit well. I mean, you could certainly see that because he's that kind of guy, no holds barred. So I'm glad he's in. What I'm looking forward to, and this is the first time, is his induction ceremony. I hope he's got a doozy. If he even
I don't think he's going to go. I don't think he's going to show up.
Then I'm not watching. But that would have been the only way to get me to watch. Because who knows what he would do?
He would do right. All right. Yeah. How about Tina Turner?
All right. Here's the thing. No. This is not disparaging Tina at all.
No.
We know it's not just the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We know that the boundaries have been stretched to their limits, and they're letting in people who do all sorts of genres. And I mean, okay, fine, whatever. If you're going to let people in who are more in the soul and maybe dance-oriented arenas like Tina Turner, it might as well be her because she's great, both with and without Ike. I mean, she's among the queens of soul. I mean, I have to give that title to Aretha. Sorry, Lady Gaga, you ain't getting it ever. But if it wasn't Aretha, it's definitely Tina Turner. So I am fine with her being in.
And the hard rocker Carole King, I mean, she rocks, right?
Well,
she's going in.
Carole King got in as a performer, as a songwriter, rather. I'm sorry. And some people bitched about the fact that she's in twice. I mean, she should have gone in as a performer a long time ago anyway. So I have no problem with it.
Yeah. I could say Jay-Z. I don't know if you have any comment on Jay-Z at all. I really don't have the background or the knowledge to speak.
I don't either.
Okay.
Next. Well, wait. My experience with hip hop goes as far as Straight Outta Compton, which I really like as a movie.
Okay.
So anything I saw in that movie, I kind of dig. Mostly NWA, of course. But beyond that, I couldn't name one Jay-Z song. I'd obviously heard of the guy. In the annals of hip hop, he's obviously one of the paragons. So if you're gonna put hip hop artists in, which I'm very iffy about. But if you're going to put them in, he might as well be in there.
Well, I mean, it's not so much a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame; it's a museum of musical artifacts anymore. So, if you want to cover the whole gamut, the Smithsonian's not going to deny the moon rocks because they, it's just,
I'll tell you how much Mark and I care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The one year we did IPO in Cleveland, our hotel, we could see the damn building from our hotel. We didn't even go in. We're there for a few days. We didn't go into the damn Hall of Fame. That's how much we care about it.
That's funny.
We didn't.
We didn't. That's absolutely true. But
we talked more about the band Fistula than we did about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Which there's a rare album. If you could find their first album, which I think is still sealed,
so to speak.
They're pretty niffed.
Yeah,
They're pretty niffed.
There's something, all right. Don't even ask us about fistula because we're not going to tell you.
We're not going to tell you. Well, you got the Go-Go's. You got the Go-Go's. You know, they're going in. I've always dug the Go-Go's.
Which, am I back yet?
Yeah, you're here.
I got a call which interrupted. Oh, okay. Now I see myself. Well, the Go-Go's. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. They certainly, while they weren't the first all-female rock band, they were one of the first who, wrote their own stuff, played their own instruments,
right. And toured a lot of small clubs, and they paid their dues. Yeah. They didn't make their way just because they were a bunch of pretty faces or anything. They were paying their dues in the small clubs and
absolutely.
And
I mean, they were a punk band early on, and they were playing in some of the grimiest places in LA. No, I mean they paved the way for so many other bands, both in style and in influence, no doubt about it. There are so many. I've spoken to a lot of young girls. Don't make of that what you will, but over the years, a lot of them have told me that the Go-Go's were the reason that they formed a band. So, yeah. I mean, in some ways, oh my God! In some ways, they're they're probably at the top of the list of those who should have gone in.
Right.
All right, Mark. I'm a 62-year-old man with a very weak bladder, so I'm facilities.
We're gonna wrap this
entertain them while I'm gone.
Okay, I'm gonna enter. No, go ahead.
Hold on. Let me come back.
Come on back. You be back. Well, thankfully, David is not taking his video with him to the facilities. But once again, everybody, we're so glad you're tuning in. This is going to be a weekly pod. We're going to try to keep this to half an hour, but we're having so much fun here in episode number 1 that it's just rolling right along. We hope you're enjoying it. I mean, if you stay for the whole thing, fantastic. If you got to pop in and out, that's great. We do appreciate you. And please leave a comment. Let us know you're here. This is off the cuff. This is pretty much unscripted. We both kind of write some notes about things we may want to talk about, but many things that we bring up, I don't know what he's going to bring up. He doesn't know what I'm going to bring up, and we just let it roll. And we have a lot of fun doing it. So hopefully, if you're part of the group for Facebook, or if you're on YouTube and you've subscribed and hit the bell, you'll be notified when the next event comes up. And you can always join us every week. Hopefully, it's going to be every week, Wednesday around this time. If something does not allow us to do it on a Wednesday, maybe it'll be a Tuesday or a Thursday. But we'll put the event notification out there so you'll know when the next one's coming up in plenty of time. But anything you want to tell us, anything you want to say, just please drop us a comment. We'd love it. And Dave, you remember those things, the old 50s, 60s, those little cups that were like this, where you could then drink some water? Yeah, aren't they cool? Yeah. Well, because you just ran to the restroom, somebody just sent in some things here for the car. So if you've got to go in the car, this is the similar type idea, but you use this with your mail member.
I need this. Yeah.
Here it is. It's gonna pop up, and fortunately, it does come in the small size for you for portability. And what I'm happy about is it also, this is for me personally, it does come, it extends up to 12 inches.
So what is it? What is it? You need 10 inches to spare for comfort? Is that the idea?
I need. Well, yeah, it's going to fill up. Obviously, it's going to fill up. So
right.
If it fills up 10 inches, I'm still safe.
There you go. Just barely.
Oh Lord! Thank you for whoever sent that in.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever seen a podcast where one of the hosts relieved themselves in the middle of the show? You have not, but now you have.
I was afraid.
Anything went. We were saying anything goes, figuratively and literally. Something went.
I was hoping you wouldn't have stage fright and be back there for about 20 minutes. I was running out of things to say.
Yeah, I'm good. Now you guys have hit rock bottom. No, well,
Not yet.
No, we haven't. We haven't. Believe me, you have no idea what we're capable of. We have no idea what we're capable of.
We have no idea.
Find out. Anyway, yeah, we've hit the hour mark. We should probably let everyone else relieve themselves, figuratively and literally.
I was telling everybody we had hoped to keep this about half hour long. I figured, how are we going to fill half an hour? We're having so much fun here. This has been 1 hour. So who knows how long these things will actually go. If it's an hour-long show every week, so be it. You know, if we get tired of each other after 8 minutes, we'll just end the broadcast and go elsewhere. But
I want to say to the ladies out there, a half hour, that no way that could contain us. Okay,
we don't need that much, but
we're 60-minute men. That's right. Well, like the dominoes sang. Yep.
Well, David, you want to say some parting comments?
Actually, I don't, Mark. No, I do. I want to thank both Mark and I. I'm sure would like to thank everybody who tuned in. I don't know if everyone found out about this. We're still not sure how people found out because I didn't see a notification. But those people who didn't find out, you're in luck because this is going to be archived on YouTube. And we will post the link. And those people, IPO 2021, yeah, in Arlington, at the very least, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so we will post the link, and those people who didn't see it will have a chance. Or if you're really a masochist and want to see it again, you can go back to YouTube and do that. But yeah,
get out the popcorn.
This was a lot of fun, even more than I thought it was going to be. So, Mark, great doing this with you. I look forward to all of the rest of them. And yeah, this is always going to be great, off the cuff, irreverent, and anything else that you want.
Exactly right. And I echo everything David said. And don't forget, Pete, make sure you send us your address. We will find you somehow to get this CD out to you in the mail. Next week, who knows what I'm giving away. Right now, I'm having a little bit of the Hughes Brothers Belle of Bedford pure whiskey, rye whiskey. This comes from the Bedford Springs near where all my relatives are from. Very, very rare, very hard to find. But
not the Hughes Corporation, you mean?
Not the Hughes Corporation, because I wouldn't want to rock the boat.
The boat. Well, if you drink enough of that boat's going to be rocking. I'll tell you that.
But here's to you, David. Here's to everybody that tuned in on episode number 1. This has been a heck of a lot of fun, and we will notify you and let you know when episode number 2 is scheduled.
Indeed. Everyone have a great day. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, all.
Good night.